everyone, it's Gabriel here today to do a video on my leopard gecko Augie. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a 6-month update on him because I have had Augie for actually over 6 months at this point. I think it's been more like 9 months, but we're just gonna call it 6 months because I meant to do it at 6 months, but clearly I forgot. So, in case you are unaware, Augie is my first ever reptile. He is, just my first leopard gecko, my first reptile, and this was a huge thing for me just because I've never owned reptiles before. I've owned lots of like furry animals, but never any scaly, so it was pretty important. And I thought in today's video I would just talk about how he's been doing, things that he's been doing, just like an overview of him and how I care for him, kind of. Just a little update, a more chill video for you guys to get to know me as a pet owner and one of my pets, which is Augustus. So, I got Augie back in July 15th of 2019. So he will be turning 1 on July 15th. Actually, he was a month old whenever I got him, so I guess what month comes before July? May? Sorry, I'm dumb. We should know this by now. We should definitely know this by now. I don't know. I'm not very good with months, but anyways. So I got him because my cousin got a leopard gecko, and I have always wanted leopard geckos, but after she got hers, I had to do extra research on their care because I needed to make sure she got everything correctly because she isn't the kind of person to research. So I just wanted to keep track of her gecko, which I now own, which I will be doing a video on soon. I now own her gecko, which was expected, but yeah. So about a week after she got hers, I got all the supplies needed for Augie. I got him in a 20-gallon Exoterra, which is the tank above me, and a heat mat, and I had him on kitchen shelf liner and some cork hides, all that. And then I had all my supplies, but then there was a reptile expo the same day, so I went and I got him the same day. So I set up my enclosure and then put him in it, so it was kind of like a not ideal situation, but I could not find any geckos at the time, and I was just like, let's do it. So yeah, he is just overall a great little gecko. I'm very impressed with how far he's come. Whenever I first got him, he was so skittish, and he would scream at me all the time. Like, he was always screaming at me, but then again, he was a little baby, so it's expected. And within it took him like 3 months, but after he hit like the 3-month mark, he mellowed out so much, and I was so shocked. It was like, to me, it was like a day difference. Like, one day he was super skittish, and the next day he was like this, and it was just insane. He was still getting kind of flaily whenever I held him, but other than that, he showed an interest in me handling him. He was coming out of his hide and like putting his little, he would try to get out of his enclosure by getting on the doors whenever I would come by, and then he would crawl out onto my hand and he would hang out with me. It was actually really nice, but he would still get kind of flaily at times. But then my last video where I talked about being a teenager and owning leopard geckos, that whenever I held him for that long of a video and he was so calm, it completely blew my mind. He just did so well. He's just such a good tempered gecko, which is just awesome. And since I've gotten him, now let's talk about how he's been eating. Augie eats really well. So far, I'm having a trouble with keeping up with the days that I feed them. So it is kind of sporadic, but I mainly just pay attention to when he comes out of his hide. Whenever he's hungry, you'll see him come out of his hide really fast, and he'll look at me, and that's when I know when to feed him. Whereas like Livia, the gecko above me, she eats whenever. They seem to be on the same kind of schedule. He just shows more signs that he's hungry, whereas Livia just waits for me to, give her food. So yeah, Augie, he shows signs whenever he's hungry, so I kind of based it off of that because I prefer for him to not have a super duper fat tail and be a little bit thinner but still a healthy weight, but not be obese, which I've seen and heard is a common problem with leopard geckos. So right now I would like to get him a little bit bigger and get him possibly a bigger tail, but I think right now he's at a pretty good weight. I haven't weighed him, but just by looking at him, you can tell he's healthy. So yeah, what are his favorite kind of food? which I just thought I'd talk about because he is really interesting, and it's like this for both of my top 2 leopard geckos. So yeah, I definitely think crickets are Augie's favorite feeder insect, but then mealworms probably come second for him. He definitely gets a more hunting vibe from crickets because they flail so much, so he gets into like I'm gonna catch you mood. I tongue feed him. He's used to tongue feeding. That's about all. I'm so sorry, my cat is being weird. So yeah, he eats crickets really well, but he also really does like his mealworms as well. Superworms are not his favorite at all. It's the same thing with Livia. They do not seem to like superworms, which kind of sucks because I buy them and they last a super long time, yet neither one of them really like them, and I don't know what it is. Is this, if anyone else owns leopard geckos, is this a common thing for them with like your geckos, your own geckos? With him, it definitely is, at least with my 2. Superworms are not good in my house apparently, although I did try to introduce them early on. Dubia roaches he does really well on. It's just hard for him to catch them a lot. Like I'll hold them and then I'll try to get them to move a little bit and then I'll let go of them and then I have to get them out of his enclosure because I do not like the idea of like mealworms and dubia roaches and crickets crawling around his enclosure. So, you know, it's kind of a struggle with dubia roaches, and I am trying to start my own colony so I don't have as many as of right now, and there aren't a lot of local places that sell them. So yeah, him and his crickets. He is like a really good eater. Again, tongue feeding is something I really like to do with him, whereas like with Livia, she's actually out right now. I don't know if you guys can see her. She's having her little head come out. Livia doesn't really do tongue feeding, which can be kind of annoying because I need to hold them in place. So for him, I really like that he can tongue feed, but I taught him that at an early age, and that's how I always fed him. So, you know. What else about him? I have upgraded him to a 40-gallon, which is behind me. He loves it. He explores every inch of it. He does so well in it, and I really like having him in there. I feel like he just has so much more enrichment and he has so much to do. He has chosen a really weird corner to go to the bathroom in, which is kind of annoying because it's behind his humid hide, so I have to move everything, and yeah. He also really likes to like dig out his humid hide. His humid hide has coconut dirt, coconut fiber, whatever it is, in it, and he loves to like kick it out or like drag it out. He also really likes sleeping in it, which is really cute. It's like a little bed because it is on his heat mat, so it's kind of warm. It's a little bit off, so it's a little bit warm, and he just sleeps in it, and I think he really likes that. Something else I've noticed is he does like climbing and getting into things. That's really common with Mr. Augustus. He loves to climb all over everything. So yeah, that's just, you know, little stuff about him that I like. Yeah, he's just a really good gecko. We are having some problems with his shedding. Whenever I notice he's in shed, I wet his humid hide. But he's still having a lot of problems with getting some off of his face, which if you see, I'm gonna put up a clip of him just to show you his morph and how he's turned out as he's grown. But in that video, he does have some stuck shed on his face, which I'm gonna get off after this video. And he is having some on his toes, but I get that off. We don't want him missing any toes. I don't necessarily know why he's having such a struggle. Like, he used to have really good sheds, but right now he is struggling. I might have to look into a different fiber to put in my humid hides. I don't know if that's the reason why. I don't really have anything to compare it to because Livia, she has a metabolic bone disease, so she always struggles with her sheds, whereas like I expected him to do a lot better, but he hasn't been. So something I'm gonna have to look into, and I have been, you know. So yeah, what else? His morph is really pretty now. I mean, the amount he's changed within, you know, 9 months blows my mind. He's grown so fast. I will try to include like a picture, like I was doing collages where I posted pictures of how much his morph changed. And I think it was around the 5-month mark where he kind of stopped changing. He's pretty much the same now. And I think this is how he'll always be, which I really like because he has, let me grab him, I know. he just has some really beautiful spots on him, and he is a, what is he? I always forget his morph. I'll put it up right here. I can't think of it right now. I almost always remember it, but I really just love his like purple colors with this bright yellow and then this purple tail. He might mellow out with time. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, like his banding went away, but I'm kind of hoping it stays because I think he's really beautiful. My cousin also says he looks mean because he has these big gray eyes that are always in slits instead of like rounded. Sorry. So yeah. He's just a great gecko. I'm obsessed with him. He's definitely my baby. So yeah, I also put these little LED lights in his enclosure to give him a better day and night cycle. So I will give you like a little clip of his enclosure, but I plan on doing enclosure tours soon. But I added those not only to make it look nicer for like pictures and stuff, but I thought it might be nice to give him a day and night cycle. They're on a little bit later. It is like in the afternoon. It's like 9 o'clock right now, but I mainly just did that for the video, just to keep them a little bit nicer. So yeah. All right, guys, I think that's where I'm gonna end the video just because there isn't much else to say. Yeah, I can do a video on Miss Livia and how she's been doing, which is my gecko with metabolic bone disease, and I will be doing a video on my newest gecko soon. So yeah, guys, that's where I'm gonna end the video. Hope you guys enjoy. If you like, subscribe. If you didn't, then goodbye. I can also do a video on him. Sorry. I know. You're being crazy. Okay.